Yeah, still in the rebuy period. I have blocker. I'm going to shove. Just because we're in the rebuy period and I like to shove. And I like to create a loose kind of bluffy image. And I've only got 16 big blinds, so I need to make something happen here. I see that I have a viewer at the moment, but I can't see your name, so welcome. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whoever you are. You're catching me at the start of a what's going to be a very long session, in which I'm going to crush some final tables and just generally make a nuisance of myself here on Pokerstars. And listen to a lot of drum and bass and dubstep and maybe a little bit of more chilled out stuff later on. Maybe a little bit of instrumental flamenco guitar or something. And unfortunately we lose, but that's okay, we can rebuy. I'm gonna flat this. Even against a guy this tight looking. And I'm folding the pocket fives just because there are no antes at the moment. There's no sense of trying to contest the pot. This guy's not c-betting, so I'm going to fold my middle pair and shove this. So I have 15 big blinds. We do dominate. Time for the screw face. And I'm going to shove again, just because I've shoved a couple of times already. And hope to get looked up light by these guys, because I've shown down some ridiculous hands. Get called by this guy. And we dominate again. We can just fade a 4. This is what I like. I like getting into like reg wars with these like weak, tight, nitty regs who then just lose lose their temper with me because they think, oh, he's a maniac, he's a donk, he's just shoving. Like, oh, dude, you just shoved 7-4 suited, dude. What kind of donk are you, dude? Could I shove with this? You know what? I'm actually just going to shove again. I just hope to get called by like some ridiculous hand. I mean, again, like proportionately for the stack that I've got and these kind of stacks left to act behind, I think this is a fairly profitable shove. This guy's not going to call me too light. He's very, very tight. I mean, if he calls, if he wakes up with something, so be it. But I cover these guys, and I hurt this guy badly if he calls and he loses. And I has an ace. And we win the pot. So we're creating a pretty crazy image on this table, which is gonna help us. And we've got 5-7, 5-6 suited. Now with this hand, I can actually like. I was gonna say I can like raise with the intent of calling these two guys and this guy and folding to everybody else, but now that this guy's raising, I'm just going to fold because I'm not deep enough with him to run. Or I mean, I could 3-bet shove because like suited connectors like that do pretty well like against a 3-bet calling range. Here I'm deep enough to flat, and hopefully we'll go multi-way and I'll see an 8 on the flop. Oh, if only this had been this flop. Okay, so we have a raise and another raise by this guy, so I'm going to get out of the way here. So we've been pretty crazy on some of these tables, with good reasons, but I like to kind of, sometimes I like to do slightly negative EV things, just because of the kind of future plus EV I get off those negative EV things, if you like. I like to show down some ridiculous hands, just to try and, so that I can manipulate the dynamic that I'm creating with my opponents and get paid off on big hands, and also, like, to try and stay like one level above everybody else. You've got to be the one that sets the level for the table, I think. I guess that's what all that stuff about being a table captain actually means. Although it's harder these days to quote-unquote dominate tables and be a table captain, because you get played back at so often. There's so much ego involved in a lot of these. I'm going to check here, because I have the ultimate bluff catcher. But when he pot size bets it like this, yeah, I'm just going to fold. Yeah, he made it pot size. And just because I don't want to kind of like play any guessing games out of position versus guys who are playing 64-9, when a guy this loose and passive suddenly wakes up and makes pot size bets post flop and you're out of position, ace high is just like never really good. No sense in kind of, like I say, playing guessing games with these opponents when there's going to be so many like really clear-cut, unambiguous ways of getting their stack later on. This guy's raising a really, really tight range, which means that I'm likely to get paid off if I do hit something, and it's only going to cost me a blind to see a flop. So here I feel like this is the sort of flop that hardly ever connects with anything that he's raising with, so I can go ahead and check shove this and get so many folds. He is c-betting 100% of the time, and he's made it incredibly small, so I'm going to go and check shove. We are still in the rebuy period, but he's so tight that he's folding almost everything here that isn't an overpair, or ace-king suited, or possibly even ace-king offsuit. Okay. Okay guys, so doing what I usually do, I've been stealing with wild abandon here on this table. So even though I've been overall, over the last 97 hands on this table, I've been relatively tight. In late position, I have been just absolutely ludicrously aggressive versus these guys. Just not in terms of necessarily just my opening range, but also in terms of just like 3-betting and things like that. So I've been pretty aggressive on these tables. Hopefully that will serve us in good stead as we go along. So we've got 107 players left in this tournament, and we are roughly at an average stack, but we've created a decent dynamic that we can use to double up through one of these two guys who look pretty predictable and standard. We've got these two more competent, aggressive looking guys. I do recognise this guy. He's a really, really good reg. This guy I don't recognise too much. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, he's a pretty good reg as well. I know this guy is like really solid though. This guy also looks pretty competent. In this tournament we've got a really decent stack. We can really do some damage to this table. Nobody here really that looks like is going to give us too many problems. It's a deep stacked, slow structured tournament, so yeah, so we can pretty much run over the table here, I think. Over here, again, we're doing pretty well. 65 big blinds. Less than 500 players left. In the big 8, again, you know, we're under the average, but that's okay. You know. We've still got time, it's still pretty early in this tournament. In this tournament here, again, we've got a decent stack. With lots of play left. Haven't gotten to the add-on period here. And again, over here, we've got a really good stack. Not yet in the rebuy period. We've got some more tournaments starting up, guys. Lots more. So in fact, I'm going to register for some of these. I'm going to fire up this $5 3k guaranteed freeze out, and I'm going to put this in the freeze outs stack over here. I'm also going to open up this one just because I need some more action and it's good value. So we've got a few more tournaments ready to start, guys, which is going to bring our table count up to 10 tables shortly. And then we've got plenty more tournaments registered for. And we're going to keep registering for these as well. So hopefully we'll have a decent number of tables when we come back from the break. I shall be back shortly.
But this ain't no game, boy. I be on my Luigi, so this car keeps switching lanes, boy. We make noise, take noise, recreate into a great noise. Lace it up and turn the bass wig up and make your face shape like oi, 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 oi. All of y'all the ups and freeze. This is real as it can be. I'm pretty sure it is. Just stick around and you may see it for yourself and bear witness that everything that you believe in, leaving not even the smallest thought behind for any reason. Listen up, I'm here to jam. Peanut butter in the sand. Wish that I could kiss the hand of the spaceship in command. So highly in demand, like the remote is in your hand, to help you watch the play before you even press it down. The microchip response sends a message to the sound. The sound travels through the waves that you are hearing now. So if you're in the clouds, which dimension is around?